Hello, welcome to Easy Does It. Might be a bit of a shorter show today because all my guests decided to not show up. That's okay. Just gonna break some news. First of all, the Cubs finally make an off-season move, signing, and I'm sorry if I butcher your name, Shota Amanaga, a left-handed pitcher from Japan, played in the JPCL and the JPEL for a very long time, many years of experience. It was dating back to 2016, I should say. He's got around a 318 in NPB over 8 seasons. So, really solid starter. Under contract for 4 years for $53 million with the potential to extend it to 5 years to make it $80 million if he does really, really well. And also there's the potential to cut him after 2 years. So really good signing, team-friendly deal. And, just kind of goes to show that anyone who was saying, oh, the Cubs don't like to spend, cheap-ass Ricketts, a little bit of an unfounded claim just based in, I don't know, wanting the White Sox to be better than they are. I don't know what it is, but hey, Cubs made a move to get better. They're better. You look at that starting rotation now. You got Justin Steele. You got Amanaga. You got Kyle Hendricks, who had a real good year last year. You had Jameson Talion. I still don't know how to say his fucking name. Talon, whatever. I don't know how to say it, but he's a good pitcher. He had a rough year last year, but there's reason to believe he should improve and see some regression to the mean with regards to his ERA. And then just a combination of a bunch of young guys, a bunch of rookies. Maybe Jordan Wicks will be that guy. Maybe Wisniewski will return to his late 2022 form. I still think Wisniewski was doing a nice job in the bullpen towards the end of the year. And, we also got Javier Assad, Drew Smiley, who I don't want to see in a Cubs uniform ever again, but he'll probably pitch a little bit. And, of course, young rookie who will probably making, or I guess he's not a rookie yet, but young prospect, I should say, who I think will be making his first appearance in August, and that is Cade Horton. Yeah, Cade Horton. I think he'll be in the rotation, and I think he's going to be as good as advertised. No reason to believe he's not. So yeah, Cubs made a move. Cubs got a lot better, and I'm starting to talk. The reason why I wanted to open the show by talking about the Cubs is because I know that everyone's got the Bears on the mind, and it kind of creates an avenue for a smooth transition into what I want to talk about, which is the Cubs. Yes, they made a move, bolstered their rotation. Very nice to see. And they're not done yet. Still working on a deal with Bellinger. Still probably going to bring in Rhys Hoskins. If I were a betting man, I'd say Rhys Hoskins will go to the Cubs. Very solid first baseman. The definition of, he missed all of last year, but when he plays, he'll hit you 30 home runs. He's a very consistent player. And, he has a good glove over at first base. So, yeah, Bears are going to be, the Cubs are going to be making, they're going to be, like, they should, there's no reason to believe the Cubs won't improve. And still, the X factor and why the Cubs will improve is not just, signing this new pitcher, not just the depth that's starting, just among their starting pitchers. And it's not even like, it's not necessarily about bringing in more firepower at the plate. But what the Cubs did was they didn't care about the feelings of David Ross, their former manager. They got rid of him. David Ross, he's done some good things with the Cubs. He had an okay season last year. He's been around. He managed the team for 4 years, and obviously a losing record in a rebuilding time. Can't necessarily blame him for all of that at all. And also, look, he won the World Series with us. He is a World Series champion. He was Grandpa Rossi on the World Series team. Like, all Cubs fans have an emotional connection to this man. And the Cubs still let him go because there was a better option on the market in Craig Counsell. David Ross will get over it, all right? He'll probably get another job somewhere else, and he'll be fine. I don't think he has any ill will towards the Cubs. There's no bad karma there, and life goes on, right? Why can't the Bears do the same thing? I know. They fired Luke Getsy, and that's great. It truly is great. And they're firing a lot of their offensive coaches. That's good. It's not solving the problem. It's not going to solve the problem. The problem is their head coach. Matt Eberflus needs to go. He has to either coach college ball or go be a defensive coordinator. It's not even that he's a bad coach. He's just not a coach that's going to be able to consistently compete with Sean McVay and Matt LaFleur and Andy Reid or any of these, like really good, wise NFL coaches who really know what they're doing. All right. Like the debate in Chicago right now is Justin Fields or Caleb Williams, Justin or Caleb. No, it doesn't matter who the quarterback is if you can't get the coach right. That's the problem. Like when we say it's a bad organization, what do we mean? We mean we can never get the coach right. You need better football minds in the building. Anyway, I do have a guest. Mr. Chicago is in the house, and I want to get his take on everything that's going on. How you doing, Mr. C?
What's good, Easy Man? I'm doing pretty good, man. How you doing today?
I'm good. I was good. I was glad to see that that I got fired. Luke Getsy.
Yeah,
like that's good news. Objectively good news. Still,
yeah. It was definitely good to see some pink slips being given out today.
Yeah, and that's nice. We all wanted to see that. Obviously, we all on this network recognize that Luke Getsy is incompetent as an offensive coordinator unless he's got a Hall of Fame quarterback or is in an organization that actually knows what they're doing. That said, I don't know about you. I'm still feeling like Eberflus is not the guy. Maybe there's some other guys available, like a Mike Vrabel or a Jim Harbaugh, who could come in and absolutely turn this organization around. I'd love your thoughts on that.
Okay, so a couple of things here. So I do think that this particular decision is multi-layered and multifaceted, right? So on one hand, in the beginning of this season, seeing how shitty this team started off, rough, rugged, inconsistent, out of place, not knowing where the hell to go, not knowing what the hell to do. My instant thought was fire every fucking body, right? Yeah. And then obviously more debacles came about throughout the season, and then Flus started to really ingratiate his defensive mind and his defensive fervor into this organization, into this franchise, and started to really turn it around defensively. The defense started to play well, started to play a lot better. And it got to a point where we were number one in rushing defense, one of the top defenses to force 3 and outs, and led the league in interceptions. So with that in mind, obviously the guy can coach defenses. We know that, right?
And that's what I'm saying. I don't think he's a bad coach,
I don't think he's a bad coach either, but I do think that given that success and that turnaround, I'm willing to give him this one last year. Now, because mind you, if I'm not mistaken, his contract was 4 years. He's going into his 3rd year. So next year, I'm okay with giving him one more year to prove that not only did we progress this previous year, but you were able to build on that progress and get to a place where now we're playoff contending. Because I'm going to tell you this much, and I'm speaking for every Bears fan that's out there in the fucking world. Next year, we better make the fucking playoffs. 10 wins or more. It's unacceptable if we do anything less than that. A wild card, that's not good enough. We got to make the playoffs. We have to be
wild card is the playoff
title playoff team. We can't.
I'm with you there. I don't necessarily think. Look, if the Lions go on an absolute tear and win 13, 14 games, and the Bears win 12 games, I'll take it.
I'm okay with that. Yeah. I'm fine with that. At least we're competing for that division, right? But if we can't, if we go on looking the way we fucking look week 1 and week 18, against this particular fucking team we lost to again, you can't stay here. Because you're telling me
the worst
that
sandwich you could possibly have.
Yeah, because you're telling me, in essence, right, going back to what Poe said in his opening statement when he became GM, he said, we're going to take the North and never give it back. Where these motherfuckers have been a thorn in our ass for years and years to come when it comes to trying to take over this NFC North division. And at one point in time, we beat them in order to take the division. But that was 6 years ago. We can't wait. We don't have time to wait for this shit to potentially grow again. This shit got to be grown now. It got to be full grown.
You know who won that game? You know who scored in those? You know who scored touchdowns for the Bears that game? I think it was Jordan Howard, Tariq Cohen, and Trey Burton. So that was eons ago.
And given that we looked just as unprepared in this last game as we did the first time we played them in week 1. That pissed me the fuck off, and I was ready to throw. I was ready to throw everybody out, including Dustin. Everybody got to go because I mean we can't beat them one time. Like no. So, but I won't dismiss the progress and the just the overall makeup of how this defense has played and how he hasn't he didn't lose the locker room. So I'm willing to give him one more year at the very least. Now I'm glad.
I hear that, man. I hear that.
But real quick, easy. I'm gonna tell you this much that I am glad about, but I'm still pissed off about.
Okay,
Luke Getsy was a huge fucking problem.
Yes.
First off, he should never fucking be here in the first place. But secondly, more specifically, since he was here, you waited too fucking long to fire him. He should have been gone. Like we should have just allowed somebody else on the staff to move up and be interim, at least until the remaining of the season, because he didn't get any better. He didn't sustain any consistency within this offense.
Not at all.
Well, once the game started, he knows how to do some shit when the game starts. It's when the game hits the second half, he gets fucking lost. Like he's trying to ask Madden what the fuck to do. Or at least he should be asking Madden, because he clearly don't know what the fuck to do when it comes to adjusting, readjusting, or adjusting to the opposing team's adjustments. Like he has no fucking clue how to do any of that.
It's like the other teams are, when given from the perspective of the Bears offense, it looks like the other teams are so many steps ahead defensively of what they're doing, especially Green Bay. And I think that a lot of what that is you got to fault Getsy for this because of where he comes from. It's like,
I felt like the bastard was shaving points because of where he came from. Listen, if you really want my honest opinion, how pissed I was, I think he was shaving points, because I'm just like, listen. First off,
shaving points meaning
like he wanted us to fucking lose this fucking game because he wanted to go back over there to Green Bay. Like, you should have never fucking left, because you didn't deserve to be here in the position that you were in.
Look,
I feel like
it's conspiracy shit, but like I'm not opposed to it. Like I don't think that's false.
But that's how pissed I was. I'm not saying it is true or that I believe it. But in that moment, I'm like, you're doing this shit on purpose, because you know goddamn well how bad we need to beat this fucking team, and yet you come out and this is the shit you put out there. It was ridiculous.
No, believe me, I was every bit as mad at Getsy. I was irrationally mad at Fields too. Like I was mad at all of them. But the thing about Getsy is that, like, when you play the Packers, like, defenses study coordinators. Like that's what Deion Sanders always says. Is like, I didn't study quarterbacks, or not necessarily receivers either. What I did was I'd study coordinators, learn the schemes that they like to run, learn the plays,
learn
their
patterns. Yep, learn the things that they known for being successful at.
What has this
Luke Getsy ain't successful at shit, so it wasn't hard to learn what the fuck he do and don't do, right?
Yeah, but Getsy has been coaching, Green Bay. He was up in Green Bay for a really long time, so the Green Bay defense knows what's coming.
Coaching is a relative term, easy, when you're describing him. He sat his ass next to Aaron Rodgers' punk ass and laughed at his corny ass jokes and got him coffee and Gatorade. He didn't fucking teach Aaron Rodgers nothing about mechanics, his throwing arm, his footwork. He didn't do shit. Him and Nathaniel Hackett are a terrible example of what white privilege is, because you bastards did nothing to actually deserve the position that you got, and yet you got positions that you rightfully didn't fucking deserve. And
Yeah.
you didn't call any plays. You reaped the benefits of who the fuck this bastard was, and that's how you got on. Because Nathaniel Hackett, after he got fired for having a coaching job that he shouldn't have had in the first place in Denver, Aaron Rodgers, arrogant prick ass, called him and said, "Hey man, we're gonna hire him over here with the Jets."
The easiest job
Really?
job in sports is Aaron Rodgers' offensive coordinator, because until he gets injured. But because your job is to just do whatever. Like, he'll call the plays. You call a play, and he'll say, "No, I don't like that. I'm going to do this."
The Jets were stupid enough to give him every damn thing he wanted, and yet they still suck. After he got hurt, they gave him all the damn receivers that he wanted from Green Bay, and including the damn offensive coordinator now with Nathaniel Hackett, who did absolutely nothing to help this goddamn offense. And they were the lowest scoring offense in the league. But yet, y'all catered to this piece of shit Rodgers and getting everything he wanted. That's what the fuck you get. But anyway, Luke Getsy, if he never is on another sideline again, that would be too goddamn late, because he should have never been.
No, I completely agree. I mean, look, like I said, I'm very happy that he's gone. I think
I am too.
It's very long overdue. It's absolutely necessary. And, I do think there is something to be said about the Packers, just especially knowing what Getsy wants to call, because they were just always in the right position. Like, it seems every game against the Packers.
It looked rigged, man. It looked rigged.
It always looked rigged. And by the way, don't get me. I don't want to talk about this too much because I could go on and on. But that play where Fields slid and was just absolutely leveled by Simone Biles' boyfriend.
Yeah.
How is that not a flag? I still don't understand.
Listen, honestly, if I'm Fields' teammate, I'm getting thrown out that game, because I'm gonna knock the hell out of you for doing that. Like, you refs, these refs are shitty, and they need to not protect them and allow these goddamn coaches and players to criticize how bad they have been officiating. They deserve criticism. No, they shouldn't be fining them for criticizing these motherfuckers for getting a goddamn call wrong or missing a damn call, because that's what the fuck you did. This man keep getting hit like that. You're going to get my quarterback killed like that, doing that, missing that damn call. That's ridiculous.
It's so negligent, and it's also one of those things where any other quarterback slides like that and gets hit, that whoever hits him is out of the game. That's an ejection. Can you imagine if it was Tom Brady? That guy would be. That's
you're getting thrown out and you're getting fined.
Yeah, that's 6 figures and a 15-yard penalty.
You might get suspended too. Yeah.
There's no question. And oh my goodness, I just like, that I'm still bitter about that game, obviously, but I kind of accepted our fate in the second quarter. There was a moment when it was 2nd and 2. The Bears had the ball up 3 late in the first, early in the second, and Tony Romo was talking about how great Getsy is. And he was just like, "Oh man, that Getsy, he really knows how to adjust, Jim. He really knows
if you don't shut the fuck up." I'm like,
I just
why did y'all pick Tony Romo to commentate this damn game?
I wanted to punch Tony Romo in the mouth.
Like, I was better off letting Greg Olsen be the person to commentate us, because I
honestly I don't mind Greg Olsen. Like, I think Greg Olsen's fine. I just Tony Romo, like, I liked him when he first came in, but God, he's gotten annoying. And then on the next play, the Bears ran some weird play action shotgun reverse type thing, and Fields is sacked for a loss of 4 yards. And that's when I was like, okay, if we're doing that on
offensive line, for all intents and purposes, easy. This offensive line had been improving and playing better, but suddenly these motherfuckers didn't know how to they forgot how to block all of a sudden. I mean, Davis wasn't doing too well before he got hurt. Jenkins was getting blown the fuck up and blown
Jenkins had his worst game.
I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Not to mention Feeney. I'm just like, boy, we are terrible with this center shit. Like, we cannot miss on drafting a center in this draft.
Usually, centers don't usually go. Man. I'm pretty sure centers don't usually go to round 3, but we might need to grab one round 2. Like, there's.
There's going to be some offensive linemen in the second round, but we don't have a second round pick right now, so that could possibly change depending on what we do with the number 1 pick. But
which is something we'll get into.
Yeah, we should definitely be in a great position in the 3rd round to get a center, early in the 3rd round, because we definitely fucking need one, man. But
I mean, look, it's not even like just forget blocking for a minute. Obviously, blocking is the most important thing of an offensive lineman. I want a guy who I know is going to get the ball to the quarterback. It feels like how many rolled snaps did we have from Lucas Patrick this year? It feels like every
from
game.
Lucas Patrick, from Whitehair, from Feeney. I'm just like, can any of you motherfuckers be a center? Do y'all know how to do anything? And then not to mention, again, going back to the play caller, I didn't see a goddamn deep pass get thrown out one time in this fucking game. So you're telling me we won't even take a shot? Damn the fact that whether or not we complete it, we won't even dare to even throw downfield. Really? Wow.
Yeah. No, it made absolutely no sense. And like, I was like, the one good play that the Bears had, like on offense, like it was one of those little drag routes to Moore where he, took it like 30 yards to get us into the red zone. And it was just like, where has that been all season? Why are we not running those little mesh concepts like all the time? I don't understand just like the apprehension towards those kinds of plays.
And where are the fucking slants? I ain't seen one. I didn't see one. Not one fucking slant.
I think there was one slant on that one where Matt LaFleur challenged it. If you remember late in the game. That might not have been a slant, though. It might have been. It felt more like
I don't think it was a slant. I think I know what you're talking about. I don't think that was a slant. But my thing is, when you run these little sweet things, and then when you see these goddamn screens that you're throwing, see, first and foremost, the screen only works if the goddamn blocking and protection is there. If that protection and blocking can provide some type of wiggle room or gap for that goddamn receiver or running back or whoever the fuck is catching the damn ball in that screenplay, if they can create some type of space for them to run through after the catch, that's when you know the shit can work. But when we're not fucking doing that, this team at this point, Easy, it's a mind fuck. It really is. We were defeated mentally. We have been defeated mentally by this fucking team who have gotten so deep into our fucking heads they live in rent free. And it's the fact that we have lost 10 straight. We have lost 10 straight to this fucking team now. That the minute we go up, we're nervous. And the minute they score, we're nervous. Now it's like, oh shit, here we go.
It's just this
and Alex Smith said something very
feeling of like it's just gonna go wrong. It's just gonna go wrong. Every time.
You just know it is. You know something is about to go wrong. I've said this all fucking year. The very second we do something right, something very fucking horrible is on the horizon. And it never failed. They have never let me down with letting me down. I mean, absolutely. It's fucking, but it befuddles the fuck out of me.
They are artists when it comes to losing. They are.
And you know what? Alex Brown said something at the Bears after show. He said something very prominent and profound. He said that coming to this rivalry in this game, he said the Bears came into this game hoping to win, and the Packers came into this game expecting to win. That's a very big fucking difference.
He's so right. And by the way, he's right a lot. He really knows his shit. I'd love to get him back on the network.
And Lance Briggs too. Right. Lance Briggs too. Those two guys I listen to like consistently and very frequently because I rarely disagree with anything that they have to say.
Right. And even when I do disagree with them, it's like I always see where they're coming from. I always see
absolutely. Yep.
And I also want to say, no one came to play for the Bears. I felt like no one really showed up, so to speak.
At all. No one had that urgency of, hey, let's win this game. Let's keep these motherfuckers out the playoffs. No one played with that level of urgency, that level of implications.
I will say two people I do think did come to play. The first being Cairo Santos. He played great. He made his field goals, right? And I gotta shout out the kicker. Like when the kicker fucks up, everyone shits on him.
But at the same time, if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have no goddamn points.
I know, but I still my point is
Jones did a pretty good job too.
My point is when a kicker fucks up, we love to shit on the kicker. That's true. So when the kicker does his job, I got to give him credit. That's one of my.
I'm definitely gonna always give Santos
as a professional sports fan. That's one of my principles. And secondly, I think Cole Kmet played the whole game very hurt. And so, and he's been solid all season. He had that really good catch. He got banged up on the play, held onto the ball.
I don't know how the hell he was able to stand and take that and still keep the ball in his hand. It was a dart right on the money, but damn, he took a hit, man. I was there's no way he's finishing this game out.
Look, Cole Kmet finishes the year, by the way, with 73 catches, 719 yards. Yeah, obviously I'd like to see some more yards out of him, but it's nice to see.
I would like to see 1,000 yards at least one time out of him.
At least one time. Yeah, that'd be great. And hopefully we have an offensive coordinator who can get that out of him. But look, well, hey, Frank, I've liked Cole Kmet for a while, but like it is finally good to see him. I don't usually like this phrase because I don't know what it means, but he's coming into his own. Like it's nice to see that he's finally become that guy. I do want to. Sorry, Diab. Hopefully you're still tuned into the show. I want to address what you said about what if they go 10-7 and don't make the playoffs Do you fire I think you meant fire the entire staff? Do you drop another quarterback? Because you're not keeping Justin if you fire the other. I see what you're saying. So if the Bears go 10-7 and don't make the playoffs next year, first of all, I don't think that's possible in the NFC because
it's not as competitive as the AFC. The AFC has the AFC North where every fucking team in the AFC North was competing, and everybody except the Bengals made the playoffs in that division.
Yeah, and look, this is still
the Bengals could have easily made the playoffs too. So
this is still the conference with the Commanders, and the Giants, who I don't think are going to be much better next year.
And the Cardinals,
the Saints. You got the NFC South. The whole NFC South is
the NFC South is well. Here's the thing, though: the NFC South and the AFC South kind of cancel each other out because both of those divisions are horrible. Like
that's true.
Think about it. But,
although I love watching the Texans, man, I will say the Texans are fun.
They were, and you know what? Surprisingly enough, the goddamn Colts of all play, I did not see the Colts being this good and this competitive, but. Hats off to them for sticking to it and competing, man. Despite Anthony Richardson going down, obviously Gardner Minshew being a pretty decent backup, they performed pretty well. But it was a joy to see
being a backup. Man, I hope the Colts don't re-sign him because I'd love him to back up whoever.
Listen, I'm glad you said that. Can we finally fucking get an actual competent fucking backup quarterback? Some goddamn Trevor Siemian, not some goddamn Nathan Peterman who shouldn't be in the league any fucking
Why
more.
Is Nathan
I
Peterman
need a quarterback who likes to throw the ball and get 300 yards and can win us a few games here.
Or at the very least, Tyrod Taylor would be such a good Tyrod Taylor would be such a good investment. Like a guy like that, Jacoby Brissett, someone who who you're not going to ask him to win a game. Brissett's pretty good. Brissett could win you a game.
I would say Gardner Minshew would be on the list.
I love Minshew. I've been a Minshew
Flacco guy. If they don't return, if they'll keep him. I would mind having Flacco.
Make some bank, I think, but yeah.
It's a few other ones, but at the very least, though, like stop just signing people just for the sake of signing some goddamn body to back up our damn quarterback. I need them to know when you come in here, if our quarterback goes down, you know what the fuck to do with the ball. And you may not be able to do the same thing that our starting quarterback was able to do because you're limited to the amount of skills and intangibles that you have. But you know how to do some things right. And you know how to get that ball out quickly and off and down the fucking field. I need somebody airing that bitch out.
Exactly. And I think Bagent, as the number 3 guy, not bad. I could roll with that. Like Bagent, he's shown that, he's capable of giving you some spark as that third stringer. I wouldn't put him second string yet, but yes, I do think investing, especially with the way Justin plays and holds the ball and runs a lot and doesn't get the benefits of calls from the refs, worthy backup is absolutely an investment that the Bears need to make this offseason.
We definitely need a worthy one. Yep, absolutely.
But yeah, to answer Coach Chef's question, if they go 10-7 and don't make the playoffs somehow, and the NFC just gets really tough, I mean, I don't think that's good. I think you need to make the playoffs because what that tells me that there's a game late in the season that the Bears need to win in order to get in, and they fail to win that game. And then,
or more specifically, we don't control our own destiny. We gotta. It's contingent upon somebody else and some other teams losing. No, fuck that. We need to be solidifying our own spot in the playoffs. Absolutely.
Right. And by the way, the 2024, we don't have a schedule yet, but we do have our opponents. We play the Panthers at home again. We get the Patriots. I don't know how good they're going to be. I don't even know if Belichick will be back. We get the AFC South, which is awesome. Titans just fired their coach. Jaguars at home. We go to Houston, which will be hopefully a good game. The Colts, you don't really know what you're getting with them. It's these are all games. Obviously, I'm looking way, way into the future, but the schedule isn't it doesn't look like there's going to be a gauntlet on there. And so you got to take care of those games early in the season. Like those games that we had like against Denver, when you're up 28-7, if we win that game, then maybe we're fighting for a playoff spot this year in week 18. It's like you got to be able to, like we got to be able to put it together more next year than this year. And yes, I'd say
that's regardless of what we do at quarterback, we have to be able to produce a playoff contending team from 24 on forward. It needs to be consistent until we get to that promised land again, and we're fucking hosting the Super Bowl, or obviously holding that Super Bowl trophy up once again, because the expectations are only going to go up from here. And this fan base has not accepted anything less than the playoffs next year.
And look, and just to give you credit to what you said earlier in the show of, you're willing to give Eberflus a chance, right? After what he did show progress. And I agree with that to an extent. I think on the one hand, yes, he showed progress. We won only 3 games last year. This year, 7 games, very clear defensive improvements, some offensive improvements here and there, obviously not nearly what you want to see. But, and given the fact that he had to fight, like they had to get rid of the defensive coordinator week 2, I am in some ways impressed with what Eberflus did. With that being said, I look at, I watched that Michigan-Washington game, and I see Jim Harbaugh winning and saying, like, each piece of confetti tells a story, and just like,
go Big Blue. Yes, sir.
And, hey, shout out Michigan. I'm thrilled. I'm truly happy for them. I've always been a Harbaugh guy. My college is I went to San Diego State, so I don't really have like a football team. I mean, I do, but the shit. But so I'm very happy for Michigan, and I'm not a big Ohio State guy, so it was cool.
Yeah,
but,
and funny enough too. So obviously, I've been a Michigan fan since I was a kid, and ironically enough, I went to the same high school that Juwan Howard went to, and so nice. he was a big reason why I became a Michigan fan too. Watching the Fab Five and those guys, Michigan basketball first, and then Charles Woodson and a few other guys. Obviously opened my eyes up to being a Michigan Wolverine football fan. And then, obviously growing up in Chicago, you watched a lot of Big Ten games, like Michigan and Illinois were the games that came on the most. And so those 2 teams I had followed the most over the years. So, but yeah, to see Michigan.
And now you're in SEC territory, so you can rub it in. So that's nice.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, I've been talking hella shit to all these damn Georgia Bulldog fans and to all these Bama fans that's been talking shit now that Saban is hung it up.
Saban retired.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere. I didn't see that coming, but I mean,
neither did I. I absolutely
kudos to him. He is the greatest college football coach who ever did it. I thought he was going to stick it out long enough to pass Bear Bryant's school record for the most national titles, but I guess he just wants to call it quits altogether.
Yeah, he could have done it, but I guess he wants to go out after a nice season. And I mean, shout out Saban. I guess he was a great college. I don't like him. I don't like Alabama, but I respect the hell out of him.
Yeah, I respect him. I don't like him either, but I do respect them and what they had done for college football in terms of setting up, just the trajectory of where college football is going, and how now it's going to be a pretty even kill when it comes to equally top-notch recruited kids going to each and every program, not some of the same programs that you just saw the past 10, 15 years, right? So
Yep. And I'm excited to see, this is good for teams like, other SEC teams like Auburn and I guess Missouri a little bit to an extent, Kentucky. Like it's nice. It'll be nice to see a little more competitive balance in the SEC, because I do like SEC football. That's where a lot of the pros come from.
And another thing too, this is Michigan winning this against a Pac-12 team. Kudos to Washington for getting there. They hung in there for as long as they could, but they ran up on the wrong team at the right time, right? So
absolutely,
the Pac-12. This was just a true testament in confirming that the Pac-12 ain't ready to play the Big Ten or the SEC. They're not ready for this. They look good out there against other Pac-12 teams until they run up on some of the best. Well, not even some of the best, but it could be like the mid-tier SEC and mid-tier Big Ten teams. They're not ready for that. The USC.
Look, I'm just saying,
I don't like USC and UCLA playing the Big Ten.
If it had been Georgia against Washington instead of Texas against Washington, Georgia would have run them out of the
Oh man,
Like,
listen,
beat the shit
it
out
would
of
have
them.
been a goose egg. That would have been
Yeah.
49-0.
No
As much as I
question
like
about it.
Penix, as much as I like both those receivers over there in Washington, yeah, Georgia obviously got robbed, and it was all politics when it came down to it
Yeah, I
because
think
they
Georgia got
lost
robbed
the
too.
SEC championship against Alabama. That's one game.
How are you gonna lose? How are you gonna lose one game in 3 years and not make the playoffs? That's insane.
That makes no sense. Now, one thing I don't like moving forward is that they're going to expand this playoffs to 12 teams. I don't like that shit. Everybody can't get in. Everybody can't get in. The strength of your schedule matters. Obviously, what conference you're playing in matters, because if you blow everybody ass out in your damn conference, you're only as good as the competition you're playing against.
Yes.
Right. So, and that matters more in college than it does anywhere else.
I think 6 is such a perfect number for this. You know, like
so
give the top 2 teams a bye week and then let teams 6 through 3 battle it out. Like
absolutely
that would have worked really well this year.
Absolutely. Don't 12 to everybody can't go. Now you're gonna let one team from every damn conference go. Like, no, like that ain't how it's supposed to be. Everybody can't go, man. We can't be giving away participation trophies because
that's
you
just
were
not
undefeated against fucking Appalachian State and some other damn no-name ass programs. No, you don't get to go because you didn't play anybody. I'm sorry. It just
I don't care to watch Georgia beat JMU 56-3. You know, like I just don't. It's just not interesting to me. Like there's gonna be some bad playoff games. Look, I'll watch it. I'll watch all of them, and it'll be fun. But it's like, I'm kind of with you on that.
Listen, when the blowout is too bad, I stop watching it and turn to another damn game because I'm just like, okay, this team obviously ain't going to come back, so and make it okay. So this even watching the rest of it. But I'm proud of Michigan. I'm proud of Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh is a damn good coach in college and a damn good coach in the pros. And obviously a lot of speculation circling around him with him potentially making a comeback to the NFL. We don't know. Obviously, he's been linked to the Chargers quite a bit. I've been reading articles. I mean, obviously, these are just speculations at this point because nobody can really move on him being there. But I do think that it's going to be interesting to see where these placements are going to be now in terms of coaches. Because now with Pete Carroll abruptly just leaving in that position, but he's gonna still be with the organization. Now I'm curious to know. Okay, well, shit. Now this coaching pool is going to get real interesting. Like who is going to hire who to be where? That's going to be real interesting to see that. But
it is going to be interesting, and I've never seen the coaching market quite saturated like this. I did not think Vrabel would get fired. I really did not think the Titans would do that.
I kind of figured it was heading that way because of how bad and inconsistent they were playing, especially given their quarterback play hadn't quite been there. They had Malik
Willis.
Malik Willis. They had obviously Will Levis, Tannehill. It's like they had no consistency at quarterback. Obviously, Derrick Henry being the damn workhorse he's been, he can only get you so far, right?
And he's at that threshold where running backs typically tend to kind of teeter off a bit. He could still be really effective for a long time.
Oh yeah, he can still be productive, but I think he needs to be with a contender. He don't keep wasting.
What he needs to do is he needs to not sign with anyone in March or April or May, June, July. He needs to sign with someone in November, in December, when his legs are fresh. Do what I call the LeGarrette Blount method, which is, take the whole beginning of the season off, fuck your fantasy teams, fuck all that. And then once it's November or December, that's when you hop on with a competing team and you have fresh legs and no one wants to tackle you. That's what Derrick Henry's got to do. And, that's also like, Leonard Fournette for with the Bucs that one year. Like, that was very effective. He just didn't he didn't get as much wear and tear during the regular season.
That's true.
But Derrick Henry, he's at that, he's had, what is this? 2,300 rushes in his career. He's almost at that 10,000 yard mark. And I think at that 10,000 yard mark is generally when running backs start to kind of fade, unless you're Walter Payton. But
of course,
no one's Walter Payton. But either way, I do think I want to talk a little bit more about Harbaugh just because, and then I'll let it sail because there's no use dwelling on it too much because the Bears are going with Eberflus. But my thing is like, yes, Eberflus, he has technically earned another year just based on the progress from last year. Like I get that mindset, and I do recognize the growth that the Bears have shown. However, it's just, to me, it's such an obvious move that you bring in Harbaugh, and then like all he's done wherever he goes is win. He just wins games, and now he's got he's got a championship in college. He's been to three NFC championships, won one of them. Obviously, lost the Super Bowl to his brother, and he's done this with Alex Smith and Colin Kaepernick at quarterback. Both guys I like, and I liked rooting for, but both had their limitations for sure. Alex didn't have the strongest arm. Colin did, but it was too strong usually. Like, he didn't have much touch. It's point being, like, the fact that he's been able to do that with, quarterbacks who are by no means like the best quarterbacks you'll ever see. I mean, JJ McCarthy, he's not really a special guy. I think he's good, but I don't think he's like.
I think he's good too. And funny enough, he's from the suburban area of Chicago, so he's from the outskirts. And I know, I remember seeing that flash across the screen earlier this season. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, obviously, not saying we're going after him per se, but I think he'll be a pretty decent, serviceable quarterback in the league.
Yeah, I agree. I think he'd be a solid backup at least, or like you put him. But also, kind of my point is, like, when you have a coach like Harbaugh, or you have a coach like Tomlin to an extent, like who else is a good example? Like Andy Reid, obviously, I think is like the cream of the crop example. I think Sean McVay is a good example.
Nick Sirianni is a damn good coach too.
I think so.
I respect the approach to the game that he brings, and the fact that his team loves him and goes to bat for him. Like, you want that player's coach, and he's
done a lot of things I really like. I will say, like Sirianni, like I've seen him do some play calling things, like against the Vikings when they weren't able to pass the ball at all, and they ran the same inside zone like 7 times in a row, and they would get like 8 yards, 9 yards, 7 yards, 8 yards. I there's some things I respect about Sirianni too, but like these guys, like they could take any quarterback, any quarterback who's at least like mid or mediocre or better, and elevate them. Like these coaches build an infrastructure of winning. Like Kenny Pickett's not anything special. Mason Rudolph's not anything special, and the Steelers.
Not at all. But the fact that Tomlin still had this team battling and in the playoffs, despite their inconsistent quarterback play, like that, you can't do nothing but tip your hat.
TJ Watt's been banged up all year. It's like
there's no way anybody else coaching that team, they're not making the playoffs.
And that's why I'm like, and I guess there's no reason to believe that Eberflus can't get to that point, because like I still hold out hope that Eberflus will one day have like a system in place where guys could just immediately fill in for guys who get hurt, and where guys could like where you have an offensive coordinator who just takes over the offense and the offense is just firing on all cylinders. Like, I'm hoping Eberflus could get to that point as a head coach. But my thing is, like, there's already a guy there in Harbaugh who could do that. And that's why I'm like, look, Eberflus, like, good job progressing the Bears this year. Let's end on a somewhat positive note instead of just waiting for him to hopefully get good. But that being said, like you said, he did earn we agree that he's not a bad coach, and he did somewhat earn a another shot next season.
Just another window of opportunity, just one more chance, one more year at showing how much progress he was able to make towards the end of the season, going into the next season, and carrying that on moving forward. But
it's a tighter leash, but and I could get on board with that, and that's kind of where we're at right now. That said,
you go ahead.
Oh yeah, so I'm just gonna say, that's kind of where we're at, and we're rolling with Eberflus, like he's gonna be the guy next year. I still don't know what they're gonna do at quarterback, and I'm kind of been bracing for we're gonna switch to Caleb, and we're gonna have to get a bunch of number 13 jerseys, and Justin's gonna get traded. Like, I'm kind of bracing for that, but I'm still of the mindset of, you should be able to trade out of that one and get you should be able to get a really good player. I want to address that too. So one, now, and Dion, you should probably catch up. You're a little behind on the show, but it's okay. But go ahead, Mr. Chicago.
Yeah. So none of us know exactly what Poles is going to do moving forward. Obviously, we can take his word with saying that he's going to be doing a lot of evaluation in terms of player personnel, looking at the scouting reports, waiting to the combine, the whole nine. Him and his scouting team are going to put their heads together and really dial in to do some thorough, check-ins with these players, preferably these quarterbacks that's coming out. And I am convinced though that if he's not fully impressed and wowed at anyone, whether it be Caleb, it be May, it be Daniels, it be Penix, doesn't matter who it is. If no one wows him and impresses him in such a way that it forces his hand to move forward with drafting the quarterback, then I do think he's going to stick with Fields. Now, with that said, see, it's two things to his job. Now, there are more opportunities for him to lose his job than there are for him to retain his job. And the reason why I say this is because if he chooses to trade Fields and we draft the quarterback and this quarterback sucks shit and Justin goes wherever he goes and plays well, he's going to get fired. If we keep Justin and pass up on another goddamn quarterback, because how rare do you see a GM be given an opportunity to have the number one pick twice to potentially draft a quarterback that you yourself can draft and in position to draft, but then you passed up on that. If he passes up on another quarterback, potentially that could be a franchise quarterback for this franchise, and sticks with Fields, and Fields looks the same or looks worse, he's getting fired. So either way, Easy, we're fucked 6 ways to Sunday because we have more opportunities to get this wrong than we actually do to get it right. So
and I guess that's the brutal business of the NFL.
We have to get this shit right. So I am on board with trusting Poles this one last year with making whatever decision he makes. All right, I'm going to trust you on this. All I'm telling you is whatever decision you make, the expectation is going to remain the same. We better fucking make the playoffs next year, whether it be with Fields, whether it be with one of these other quarterbacks, whatever the case may be. The end result better still be the goddamn end result. 2 + 2 is 4, just like 1 + 3. So regardless of how you equate that, regardless of how you do the math, goddamn it, it better equal the same fucking result that we're in the playoffs. If it don't, you're getting fired.
Yes, we have to make the playoffs. We have to make the playoffs. And I think something that goes hand in hand with that for the Bears, except in 2001, is you have to make the playoffs and you have to beat Green Bay. At least once. You have to beat Green Bay.
That's one and the same. And you can't be getting on the damn podium talking about we're going to treat this as a regular old game. No, the fuck it's not. Okay?
Not a regular
This is the most important game. These 2 games a year are the most important games of every fucking season. Okay? Don't look at this as no just regular game, because it's not. They have been kicking our ass too many goddamn times. They have been in our heads, living rent-free for too many goddamn times.
I remember Matt Nagy.
They showed some stat I remember seeing. I forget what year it was, but since some year, I think I want to say 2001, 2003, some shit like that, the Packers are 50-15 against us.
Well, yeah,
that is fucking sad.
I was born in '96, and the Bears are. Well, I think I did the math. I think they're now 13-43 against the Bears in my lifetime since I was born. So sorry, guys. Maybe I messed up there, but no, So that's bad. That's almost. I don't want to say it's unheard of because I know the Patriots kicked the Bills' ass for like 2 decades with Brady and whatnot.
Well, not just them, but they kicked the the Jets' ass for a very long time, longer than the Packers have beaten us. So
only the Dolphins sometimes got lucky against them, but it's like that was just the Patriots dynasty. Like the Packers lose to the Vikings sometimes. They lost to them this year. They lost to the Lions this year. We can't we need to.
I don't care about losing or winning against them as much as I care about beating the Packers.
Oh, I completely agree.
I don't care that the damn Detroit Lions are in the playoffs. You know why? Because they're taking the first round trip back home in the first goddamn round against the Rams.
You think so?
Oh, absolutely. Listen, the one thing I know, so think about this. Think about the implications in this game, right? So obviously Stafford has no love lost from Detroit, letting him go. He appreciate his time there in Detroit. They still love him in Detroit, no matter what. Golf, on the other hand, still has a gripe to fucking settle and score to settle against McVay, though, because McVay didn't want him. McVay didn't like him. They couldn't get along. They went to a Super Bowl and did absolutely nothing, despite them averaging over 30 points a game that season.
Yeah.
McVay now he's out to show Golf, hey, we didn't need you, and Golf is out to say, hey, yeah, you kind of fucking did. And I know y'all won the Super Bowl without.
It's a great storyline. Honestly, it's a fun storyline.
And I don't see with obviously if Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp is out there playing, they gonna light it up against that secondary.
Puka is the truth. Like
he really is.
He's not just like. I just want to say, like, if
y'all got that money a few times, man, in fantasy and just betting on different players having standout games. But yeah, I do see the Rams winning this game.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. Just they have more playoff experience. Yep. They have Aaron Donald, and they have
he's still a monster.
Yeah, like no, people forget Aaron Donald is still like
he's still that guy.
He's still the best defensive tackle of my generation, and I know he didn't have like
Thanos. He's Thanos.
He didn't have like he didn't have like his amazing year this year, of course. But like he's still a damn good player. Might be getting
still better know where the hell number 99 is on that fucking field.
Every time
you better not know where he is because you're gonna find out in the worst way.
Yeah, you gotta game plan for AD. He's one of the best players I've ever seen, and that's why I'm saying I kind of do agree with you. I do think that the Lions will have a first round exit against Stafford, and I honestly I feel for Lions fans like that would suck. That would be really damn sad.
First time you won division in 30 years, and first time you had a 12 win season in shit. I don't know how long it's been for them to do that, but
yeah, I don't know.
And then you had a first round exit. Again, that's why I'm not concerned about the Lions. The Minnesota Vikings are on a decline, so I'm not worried about them. The Packers, as much as I fucking hate to admit this, Matt LaFleur is an actual coach.
Yeah, I agree. I thought for a while he was just riding Aaron Rodgers' coattails, but
me too. I'm the first one to tell you that. And then Jordan Love, he knows what he's doing. Jordan Love is a system quarterback who performed quite well in LaFleur's system. He did exactly. He didn't do nothing spectacular, and he wasn't asked to do nothing spectacular. He did exactly what the fuck he was supposed to do, and left it at that.
You know what I would? I'd love to have a system quarterback. I want a system quarterback. If the system's good, hell yeah.
I just want a fucking quarterback that's gonna give me over 4,000 goddamn yards and over 30 touchdowns. Christ!
You know what I want? I want a quarterback who wins games. I just want to win some games.
We'll win games too, but I want some consistent 300-yard games, man. No, I love Justin, but damn, I mean, here's the thing, Justin.
Yeah, I want to get into this real quick. Crooked Commission asked, and then I want to hear your Justin thought. If we could only beat Green Bay once next season, would you want it to be home or away? I don't really care, honestly, but I always like winning on the road because it's like, I love the silence of the crowd.
I would like. Honestly, the home game is going to always mean more in a sense because it's in front of our home crowd. But to beat the damn team on their turf and at their damn stadium, you get to walk out that stadium talking a bunch of shit to their damn fan base who came out there in large to support their damn team, right? So it's like now we can tell y'all, fuck y'all, you suck, your ass is going to be trash moving forward. We beat y'all ass, and this is the way it's going to be from this point on.
This is the turning of the tide.
Absolutely.
And look, I hold out hope because, look, Ohio State was kicking Michigan's ass for a long time. Then Harbaugh gets there, and eventually things turn around. Past 3 years, Michigan's beating Ohio State. And also, look, Josh Allen coming to the Bills, doing the same thing, turning the tides on the Patriots. I hold out hope.
Winning the division a lot of times, since he's been in the league, so.
I do want to hear just before we forget because we go on our rabbit holes, which are great. But I want to address what you were saying about Justin Fields because you were saying you want a quarterback who could get you consistently like 300-yard games and 3-4 touchdowns and it's about time, right? It's today's NFL. You got to be able to air the ball out. Where do you stand on Justin Fields? Because I have a very unpopular opinion among the group on. But I want to hear what you want to do. I'll kind of share my opinion.
Yeah. So two things. Well, it's a couple of things. One, I will tell you this much. Much as I love the kid, I love his potential. I love his skills, his intelligence, his toughness about the game too, because he takes a licking and keeps on taking. And I don't know
Yeah.
how the fuck a lot of times he taking these hits and still getting up from it.
Oh,
But
he's a tough
I mean,
guy.
he's tough, man. And then a lot of these spectacular moments and times in the game where he's getting out of situations that could be catastrophic for him. I'm just like, dude, how the fuck are you getting out of that? Because there's no way anybody else dropping back in that particular position, they're getting sacked and they're fumbling the goddamn ball. Yet you're finding ways to just wiggle your way out of this shit and still make it play out of no play. The only problem with that is that it hasn't been on a consistent basis. Now, granted, we've done a disservice to him with this being almost three damn offensive like coaching staffs in the 3 years he's played. He's been playing under two different schemes, two different game plans, two different play callers, two different coaching styles in 3 years. So there's been nothing constant around Justin except chaos and inconsistency. The only constant thing around him is the inconsistency. Now, with that said, he hasn't done a whole lot of service to himself either with some of the Justin Fields specific issues that he has to clean up. Mind you, he's cleaned up some shit. He's gotten better with sliding. He's gotten better with protecting the ball, especially the last 6 games of the season. But I need a full spread, a full season of you doing this. I don't need you doing this shit after the fact. It's like, oh, now I get it. Well, goddamn it, it's week 8 now. Like, what? We already missed so much time with you getting it that now getting it don't really hold much weight now.
Yeah, it's like you got to be better in September. Like, we gotta win early.
You're a day late and $1 short now. Now I needed this shit to happen from start of the fucking season to the end. And mind you, he missed 4 games, but granted, the injury that caused him to miss 4 games was his fault.
Absolutely his fault.
You have to get the ball out sooner than that. When you want to live to see another down, goddammit, you got to throw it out of bounds. That should be your logic. Don't keep trying to be Superman. Trying to hit a home run every damn throw.
Like, it happened on a 3rd and long, and so on those, I would never say throw it out of bounds. Just throw it to your deepest receiver. Like, if it's intercepted, then it's an arm punt, and that's fine.
Well,
like, I could
throw it out of bounds. If nobody's down there easy, throw that bitch out.
If no one's down there, yeah, but like there should be someone. There should be that's another thing about Lugetzi is like, look, if it's 3rd and long and no one's getting open downfield, like there should be someone downfield.
Easy. Like, there were a lot of these games, a lot of moments where the play calling was, what the fuck is this?
Yes.
Why are you all running the same routes and ending in the same spot? Who is designing these fucking plays for you? Like, are you making a pizza or some shit and you just putting some shit together and just like, you know what? I'm gonna see if this gonna work. These ingredients should work over here with this. Like, I'm gonna put chicken with anchovies. Like, it's like, what the fuck are you doing, man?
Where's this logic going from? Yeah, exactly. It doesn't make any sense, and it's
it didn't. But all in all, I would tell you that I love Justin, but at this point, he hasn't done enough to stick around. And I mean, mind you, I was right before the Packer game. I was like, okay, listen, now we can. He win this game and win it emphatically. Now we can actually go off to the offseason and say, you know what? Give him Marvin Harrison Jr. Give him a goddamn offensive lineman in the center. We going to take the fuck off from here. I want to believe that, but obviously some people had it in their mindset that since Lugetzi has been fired today, that means we automatically going to keep Justin. They don't necessarily mean that because Poe's very strategic about his moves, and especially given that last year around this time, he made it clear that, okay, Justin's our guy moving forward. Now it's I have to evaluate everything and take into consideration all that's in front of me in terms of doing my thorough research on who could potentially be the guy here, whether it may be him or someone else. Now he's uncertain. I don't think he knows either who he wants to choose. But having said that, he's going to do some thorough homework on these damn players coming out of this draft to make sure that he is about as sure as he can fucking be with picking the right person, because he knows he fucked this up. This not only sets us back, he's getting fired.
Absolutely.
And I'm pretty sure he wants to keep his job. And so you make this, you listen, you take a swing. God damn it, you better not miss.
Oh,
This better be a home run.
Yeah, there's no excuse for missing. And the thing is, there's a lot of very talented quarterbacks in this draft, but they're not all going to work out because it is the NFL.
I don't conform to this idea that Caleb Williams is the most talented prospect I've ever seen. I watch college football. I'm not telling you the kid can't play and he's not talented. Absolutely, he is. But he's not the best fucking quarterback I've seen in a long time. No, he's not. I can name several players in the league now that was better than him in college. Justin being one of them. So it's like I'm not.
I don't know, man. I don't know. He could.
I like Daniels from LSU more than I like Caleb. If you want to be honest about it,
I like Daniels too. I really do.
I like Penix more than I like Drake May. Both of these guys are undersized. Drake May is a sophomore. He ain't ready for no goddamn league. I don't want him. I do not want Drake May.
Well, I think Drake May is a little bit more. Well, Drake May's got the size, but I do think he's a little bit more of a project.
He is.
But I also think look, I want to kill the narrative that he's just another Trubisky, because if you look at Drake May's UNC highlights against Mitch Trubisky's UNC highlights, they're nothing alike. Mitch Trubisky was throwing RPOs, short passes, slants. Right. Drake May could sling it. Like he can.
He can. He has an arm, but I'm concerned about the whole sophomore thing, and I think he may be a true sophomore or a red shirt, but I just think that 2 years is not enough experience to sit up here and say that, oh, you're the guy to go off into the NFL and be the franchise quarterback for this franchise, despite the fact that we never had a fucking franchise quarterback. So no, that would be too much for him to chew. That'd be too big of a damn bite for him to bite down on and have that kind of immense pressure on him immediately. And I don't think he's equipped for that. I don't think he's ready for that. And to that degree, I don't think Caleb Williams is either. I think Caleb would do all right with certain other teams. I don't think personally that Caleb is the right quarterback for us per se. Not to say that he won't be good with somewhere else.
If we're able to get the right offensive minds in the building,
that's going to be key. That's going to be key because we haven't gotten the right OC in years. We haven't gotten the right head coach in years. And we've never got the right fucking quarterback. So think about how much pressure that it's going to be on this next person if it's not Justin, who's used to this atmosphere and used to this pressure, versus somebody new who looking at this shit like, shit, the juice may not be worth the goddamn squeeze going to this fucking team. Because I'm just like, I can't usurp all the fuck ups and mistakes that this organization has made over the years with not drafting, not developing, and not picking or acquiring the right goddamn quarterback to lead the team long term. So it's like that may be too much of a burden, too much of a bear to brunt for a
kid. Yeah, I agree with that take. I agree. Trevor Lawrence was better,
Trevor Lawrence was definitely better. Joe Burrow was definitely better. Absolutely.
Joe Burrow was better, but also like you got to remember there's a difference between playing at LSU with those receivers and Caleb Williams playing. Caleb Williams had one really good receiver during his time at USC, Jordan Addison, who's in the NFL now.
He's pretty good. Jerry Rice's son is really good too. He had two receivers this year that was pretty good. Jerry Rice's son played for USC. You forgot that this year.
Oh, does he? Oh, okay. Yeah. Well,
he had 1,000 yards, had 12 touchdowns. Yeah, he was pretty good.
I guess I'm thinking about guys who are like already in the NFL.
Well, yeah, I mean Jordan Addison. Listen, shit, Jordan Addison can fucking stretch the field, man.
Jordan Addison. Look, I'm not denying that.
He played with some talented players. Now, mind you, when he was at when Caleb Williams was at before he transferred to USC from Oklahoma, like they were pretty damn good with him over there too. Like that's not like
I'm not denying that, and I'm saying I do think though, like let's not forget. Joe Burrow had I think he had Jefferson and Chase. Like that's
absolutely yeah.
That's a little different.
John Watson was another one was great with Clemson. Like that's another one that was better than Caleb Williams to me because he put up over
I wanted Watson
twice against Alabama.
I wanted Look, no, if Nick Saban had 6 weeks to prepare for him twice and couldn't stop him either time. So yeah, I wanted Watson when he was in the 2017 draft. That was look. I would have taken him over Trubisky. I mean, not over Trubisky. Well, yes, over Trubisky, but also over Mahomes.
I was for certain we were going to get Deshaun Watson, but I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole because I'll get pissed off again.
Yeah, no, same. But yeah, I'm with you. And but I will say though, like I do think a lot of people, especially like in our community, our echo chamber, I guess you could call it, if you want to be cynical, we are very bullish on this idea that Justin is significantly better than Caleb Williams, and that Caleb Williams is definitely not the answer. I just want to say there's a reason why Caleb is as hyped as he is. He definitely has the tools to be a really good NFL quarterback. The question is, will the Bears be able to hone that if they do draft him? And that's why I'm kind of like, look, I don't hate the idea of just kind of keeping Justin and drafting guys that could definitely support him and be around him like that. Trading out of that number 1 pick, hopefully for a real good blue chip player, maybe like a Max Crosby would be amazing, as Frank always says. And I know the Raiders, the Raiders do need to move on from a lot of the shit that they have. That would be like the dream scenario. And then
that's a large contract to take on, though. I will say that now. I said this before earlier about that haul. If we don't get a greater haul or a haul equivalent to what we got last year from Carolina, then it's not worth trading. It's not worth trading that pick. If we're not going to get a greater haul or at least the almost equivalent haul that we got last year from Carolina, then we need to just keep that pick and draft someone for us.
I get it. I think Max Crosby definitely equals that haul. And look, I mean, his contract it's only 3 more years from this point. He's making let's see, on Sport Track,
like 24 million or something like that.
He's making 18 million in 24, 19 and 25, and 19 and 26. So
I don't know why I thought he was in the 20 million.
That's kind of similar to the Montez Sweat contract, and that's like that's a really solid deal for a player of his caliber. Put him on the opposite side of Sweat, and like that's an elite defense. That's like
my question to you, Easy, about Justin is, if keeping Justin is an option for you, what does that extension or that 5th-year option look like? Do you pick that up, or do you give him a 1 or 2 year prove-it deal and then revisit that later? Do you think he would even take that? So that's a 2-part question. 1, would you offer him that? And 2, do you think he would accept that?
I think I'd absolutely do the 5th-year option. Like, I think I don't understand why teams are so reluctant to do that. Like, why not just like it's year 4, like he's still under contract. Why not get the most of that? Like, why not like utilize the contract until you absolutely can't anymore? I would say, do the 4th year and then exercise that 5th-year option if you're still in that situation where you still don't know if he's the guy. But I think after next year, you got to know if he's the guy. Like,
absolutely. And you can kind of know that in mid-season, right? So,
that's what we think.
I did say we can still draft someone and still keep Justin. Right. We can still draft someone and keep Justin and then still play Justin up to a certain point. Now, if he's looking the same and not getting better, then now we bench him and then, bring in the rookie and let him play and then start, exploring options to possibly, potentially trade him somewhere and get something for him. But at that point, his trading value may definitely dwindle quite a bit depending on what his play style and where he's progressed throughout that season next year. So, or you could just simply wait until the 4th year actually concludes and then do that. But again, we're talking about an awful lot of money, at that 5th-year option mark because these quarterbacks are making 25, 30 million a year now. So
honestly, what I hope he wins some playoff games and it gets to the point where you got to sign him. Like, you got to kind of put yourself in cap hell because you got to sign, because that's kind of what you want. You want the guy to be so good that you have to pay top dollar for him. And that's kind of the
problem is he hasn't been right now. And we've been wanting him to be. It's like he's been doing it in spurts, but listen.
And by the way, I don't think Jake Cutler
I don't eat the goddamn breadsticks at Olive Garden so long before I realized, hell, I ain't even had my goddamn pasta yet.
That's a really good analogy. That's a really good.
I can't keep eating all the damn appetizers and breadsticks, man. I need the actual main course. And the main course meal now.
And I guess the only way to get that main course meal is, what are the Bears missing on offense? Couple good linemen,
We need another goddamn receiver opposite of DJ Moore.
A really good receiver. And I'd say I like the idea of bringing in a Saquon or maybe a Derrick Henry, someone who could just like be a feature back, take the load off of some of the other guys. As much as I like Roschon Johnson and some of the other running backs, I'd like to see the Bears. It would be cool to have a guy like that who could have consistent catching out of the backfield.
Not only that, but be able to run outside the damn lines in terms of running down the sideline, not running directly into the goddamn traffic every single time. Because it's like watching Aaron Jones do what the fuck he did against us. I'm looking at Herbert like, okay, Herbert, you about 4 pounds bigger, but you're shorter than Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones runs with more aggression than you do.
Yes.
You obviously may be a little faster, but you're not quicker off that line when given the ball than Aaron Jones was. Aaron Jones was putting his goddamn helmet through everybody's fucking chest and running them over.
Herbert
and running through them goddamn arm tackles like it was nothing. Herbert, on the other hand, he was getting thrown backwards half the damn time.
Herbert's got some nice bounce to him, but he's not like bounce like he's a bouncy guy. Like I feel like sometimes guys will bounce off of him, but he's not like he doesn't run with that anger. You know who runs with anger? You know who ran with anger? And this is someone that the Bears got rid of is David Montgomery. He ran angry, and he had a really good year with Detroit. Now, he had
a great season too. He had a great season.
I love David Montgomery, and I still stand by this idea that I don't think the Bears should have re-signed him. I think they made the right move letting him go because I think the Bears do a good job drafting young running backs. It's just it wouldn't be a worthy contract. But it's
I kind of feel that way, but I do also feel like looking at this game, we could have used Montgomery in this damn game against Green Bay because
always plays well against them.
We had one damn defensive stop for negative yardage. The Packers had nine different defensive stops for negative yardage. That's fucking insane, man. So you mean to tell me we could not only get pressure on Jordan Love, but we could even stop Aaron Jones from having 140 total fucking yards on the ground and through the air? Come on, man.
It's so bad. It's so bad. It's like those guys save their best performances for when the Bears play, and the Bears play so soft against them. Even Jaquan Brisker said, I wish we would have tightened up a little bit more. Like, that's a direct shot at the coach.
It blew my fucking mind to hear these players saying what they were saying, including DJ Moore, about the offense not being explosive. I'm listening to Brisker. I'm just like, so you telling me that Flus went into that locker room down 7-6, and he didn't want to adjust to change any fucking thing up?
He didn't say like, oh, you know what? Maybe let's tighten up on defense. Maybe let's let's not give them any
coverage shit. On your mind the entire fucking game.
And don't give me that. Oh, we didn't have Jalen Johnson.
Yeah.
By the way, this game
he was out there.
Yeah, exactly. Like, who's he throwing to? He's not throwing to any special guys, and it's just like it's ridiculous. It's got
Wicks. I don't even know who the fuck that was.
I'm the same. And by the way, Jalen Johnson's price went up after that game.
Absolutely, because the sense of urgency and missing him in that game spiked. We was just like, damn, we need Jalen out here. Because I'm just like, Terrell Smith was out here getting eaten up by a no-name ass player. This team has been successful with a bunch of rookie no-names. Really?
Yeah.
I was
like, no, it's amazing. It's like the Packers are God really loves the Packers. I'll just leave it at that.
I'm not gonna go that far. I'm gonna say God don't really like us more than he.
Yeah, that's fair. I could get on board with that.
It's a matter of perspective.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it. But either way, that game fucking sucked. I'm still bitter about it. But I guess I am the biggest Cowboys fan in the world this weekend. So we them boys. No shame.
That's the thing, Easy. I fucking hate both these teams. And you ask me each week what team I hate the most is going to change because I hate how annoying Clown Boy fans are. These bastards swear up and down they're America's team, but you motherfuckers ain't won since the OJ trial. Okay? One. And two, I got to sit back and watch a damn team that we should have taken out of the damn playoffs altogether. Now be the youngest fucking team to make the playoffs against these damn clown boys. So 2 teams I hate the most are Dallas and Green Bay. I hate both of these motherfuckers. I hope they both lose. But
I get it, man.
for the
Look,
I'm not rooting for anybody, but I will say this: because those bastards beat us to make the playoffs, I want their ass gone. I want them out of the play. I want them to be a first round exit. It would make me feel
I'm not a Cowboy guy either. I've never liked the Cowboys. You know, I've a few
easy.
good
They're still
friends.
America's team. America ain't shit because America's been mediocre as fuck. If that's still America's team.
Look, I have some some good friends of mine are Eagles fans, and I'm on their side of that rivalry. Like, I'll always root for the Eagles over the Cowboys. I'll root for pretty much like the Giants over there. Like, but like my dislike of the Cowboys is nowhere nearly as strong as my hatred of Green Bay. So yeah, this weekend I'm like, you know, I don't give a shit. Like, we them boys, I'll wear a cowboy hat. I don't care. Like, I
hate that they get talked about so much. They ain't won shit. They ain't been no damn where. Jerry Jones, piece of shit ass, he pays the media to talk about them. Like that it sickens me to see them on the screen every fucking day. Really? Did y'all earn the right to be talked about this much? Hell no, you didn't.
Absolutely not. Absolutely
it's ridiculous, not. Man. You don't get to talk this much shit. You ain't even won in this millennium.
I do feel like I feel like at this point a little bit of the mystique surrounding the Cowboys has been fading. I feel like people are starting to realize more and more kind of how much of a joke they are. And I'm hoping that in the future they're not as beloved by everyone. Like Madden, for example, has Tony Pollard as like one of their superstar players, which like why? Like there's no other.
He's a good all-purpose back, but I'm like, he ain't top tier.
He's a good player, but I'm not putting him up there with Christian McCaffrey. I'm not putting him up there with you know, any like Saquon, anyone who's like really, really good.
DeAndre Swift, I'm not putting him up there with him.
Yeah. It's cowboy glazing. That's what it is. And look, believe me,
it is. You know it is.
These guys piss me off. These Cowboys, they absolutely piss me off. And what really pisses me off about them is how often they lose to the Packers in the playoffs, which has been 2 times in my lifetime, which is 2 times too many. You know, Dez caught it. By the way, Dez caught that ball. I'm just gonna throw that out there. I'm hoping, that that finally, for once, they're able to beat the Packers in the playoffs this time around. And then, they could lose. I want them to lose. But first, they got to win this weekend. Real quick, before we wrap up the show, I want to get your thoughts on the playoffs and, who you think has the best shot of going all the way, who you think, who do you have in the Super Bowl representing each conference, and who do you have winning it?
Well, I'm gonna start off with who I have potentially winning it, and I think it's the Baltimore Ravens. Like, these dudes are fucking clicking, man. They the top teams, they kick their ass. They ain't just beat them; they beat them down. Like the way they did San Francisco. I mean, shit, that was brutal. That was disrespectful. Now, I do think that San Francisco could potentially make their way back to the Super Bowl and make their way back to Super Bowl against Baltimore. So I do have a rematch between Baltimore and San Francisco potentially going into the Super Bowl. And I think Baltimore wins it because Lamar Jackson has been on one. He's been clicking on all cylinders as well.
That whole team, man, like
that defense is hungry and vicious. Now, I mean, that's not to take away anything from the 49ers defense too, but you can tell, and they have a great offense, but when they ran up on a great defense, they don't look well when they run up against a great defense versus
that was
Ravens.
That was a one-sided game. Baltimore versus was
from just the time after Baltimore went up. From that point on, it was over. And Brock Purdy has been pretty good.
He's good. He's a good quarterback.
Yeah, he is. I still won't count out the Eagles because, I mean, they have the great playoff experience. They were just in the Super Bowl last year.
They've fallen apart as of late.
Yeah, it's a shock to see both Super Bowl teams from last year just looking like, wait, what the fuck are y'all doing again? When y'all both, the Chiefs and the Eagles, were in the Super Bowl last year, and y'all look like this now? Y'all barely made the damn playoffs. That's crazy.
They're both really they did have a little bit of a Super Bowl hangover that kind of manifested towards
They
the end.
both did.
Okay, I want to address this question about interesting proposition here. If Washington gives up Terry McLaurin or a Dotson, I'd take McLaurin. If
I'll take McLaurin too.
That'd be an interesting. That's
like
an interesting offer. I'd definitely be into that, but I'd still prefer an elite pass rusher for the number 1 pick. And I do think, given Caleb's hype, that absolutely it's not out of the question that a Max Crosby type player would be made available. But yeah, just to make my Super Bowl pick, and I probably won't stand by this necessarily. I usually like to wait till after Wild Card Weekend to really look at the 8 teams left. But I really like I like the Niners in the NFC, and in the AFC. I've been burned too many times. I can't bet against Mahomes. I cannot do it. I still think
that's true. Yeah,
I still think he's the best
quarterback.
I still think he's the best quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
only quarterback replacement
be his first time playing not playing home field in the playoffs. This will be his first time, and that's
and
that's new territory.
Absolutely new territory. I still, he's got the moxie, he's got the and look, it is obviously a down year for the Chiefs. They need an upgrade at wide receiver. However, as long as they have 15, it just feels so hard to. It's a little bit like when
you can't just bet against them. Yeah, absolutely.
I can't see them. And I'm hoping. I don't want them to win necessarily. Like I like new teams winning it, so I'm hoping the Dolphins, upset them this first round of the playoffs. But I don't think they will. And but look, I'd love to see the Bills. Make a run too, because I like Josh Allen. And
I like Josh Allen too, and I think he has more pressure on him than anybody else in the AFC to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. Like this is kind of like now Josh,
put up or shut up
really. Now, because we've been getting too close these past couple of years, and then nothing. You got to take us there. But when you think about the way Kyle Shanahan has constructed this 49ers team, he is in win now mode. He is completely sold the goddamn farm to win this damn Super Bowl. And quite frankly, if Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers don't win the Super Bowl, they're not going to win it for a long time, because these contracts next year, you talk about a lot of restructuring and a lot of moving pieces, and a lot of these players ain't going to come back. You got all pro players all around, and you can't be able to, you won't be able to afford to keep these players if y'all don't win something now. Mm-hmm. They have to win. If anybody has the most pressure in the NFL, period, whether it be AFC or NFC, the 49ers have the most pressure on them than anybody because of how much they have invested in this team.
Just all that talent is crazy. They have so much talent
to not win something.
They have to win. Look, people don't realize. I feel like people don't quite process just how good this Christian McCaffrey is. Like he really is. If Aaron Donald is the Reggie White, so to speak, of this generation, then McCaffrey's like he's the closest thing I've seen to like a Barry Sanders type. If I'm being honest, like that guy.
I would say more like a Curtis Martin or a Marshall Faulk type, because he's
Marshall Faulk. I like the Marshall Faulk comparison too. That works.
Marshall Faulk is one of my favorite running backs. In fact,
I love. San Diego State alum.
Yeah, I know. Well, you'll love this thing. Let me show you this real quick.
Oh, I gotta see this.
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me?
I'm gonna go ahead and play and pay a quick bill, and then you'll show me the thing, and then we'll probably log off. We'll do a quick Moores commercial.
Listen, shout out to my man Terrence from Chicago's Clubhouse podcast, from the Moores Brewing Company here in Chicago, Illinois. All right, we got bros out here putting out this for the Moores. It's tasty. I didn't even have to come on here and lie about this. All right, this tastes like what I like when I drink a beer. I don't drink a beer often because I'm too big and I need to stay off of carbonated drinks. But this is the carbonated drink you need to open up and crack and take a sip. All right, if you want to come out of the dark ages, be educated. All right, get you some of this Moores brew right here. It's definitely tasty. You can get it in Kimbark and High Park.
Whoa. I thought we were a team. Where's mines? And when are we getting in Tempe, Arizona?
I guess we're going to have to find out, man. But everybody out there, for here from Chicago, go to Kimbark and pick you up some Moores.
sir. So
Yes, sir. Got to drink that Moors.
yeah, and I haven't tried it yet, and I'm not the biggest beer drinker like that, but I'll definitely try it.
Yeah, I'll try it. Yeah, I'm not a beer guy either, but yeah, am I crazy? Lamar Jackson is the best QB in the NFL? No, he's not.
Well,
Mahomes is better.
right now he's having the best season.
I'd put him. I think he's the MVP this season.
Yeah.
I'd put him top 3, probably top 2. But I still look. Mahomes has 2 Super Bowls for a reason, and he's the best
2
I've seen.
MVPs and 2 Super Bowl MVPs. So yeah. I would say.
I mean, look, they're both great, but like, give me Mahomes all day. Joe Milton is awful. I don't know who that is. Oh, I gotta see this. Yeah.
So check this out. So my godmother's boyfriend was Marshall Faulk's agent, and years ago he had signed this plaque for me, and my godmother's boyfriend gave me this on my birthday. I had that been.
So cool.
This is 2000. So this is when he won MVP.
That's like right when they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah. So this is when he won MVP for having 2,429 total yards from scrimmage. This is MVP.
He had 1,000 on the ground, 1,000 through the air, which was not super common back then.
No, it wasn't, not at all. And so he actually autographed it. And and I actually, when I went home to Chicago last month, I went to my mom's house and I actually looked. I was looking for it. I was like, let me make sure I find this and bring it back home. So I'm actually going to put it on my wall down here in my man cave because, Marshall Faulk was one of my favorite running backs all the time. Obviously, Walter Payton is my favorite, but Marshall Faulk was my number 2 favorite. And I used to love, watching The Greatest Show on Turf until they played us. I used to fucking hate when they played us.
It's funny you say that, though, because I, obviously, like, there's the SDSU connection with Falk and me, but I used to love watching the Rams growing up too, because my neighbor in Memphis, down like 3 houses down from me, was Isaac Bruce, and so I went to his house a couple times, got his autograph. He's just a really nice guy, and so I always was like, definitely
he's a pretty cool dude. Yeah, I used to live in Memphis too, and I actually,
no kidding.
Yeah, I actually saw him like driving down. He was in a convertible Benz one day, and we stopped at the red light together. So I was like. I instantly knew who he was, and so hey man, you're Isaac Bruce. He was like, hey man, how's it going? I was like, man, I'm a big fan, man. I wish I could have got an autograph from him, but out and about. It was a real nice day that day. So Marshall Faulk was that dude, man. That was
there's no question. Those guys, man, that Greatest Show on Turf, that changed football. Like that was
it did.
They were so fun. Yeah, I didn't know you lived in Memphis. We'll have to talk about that at some point off the air, but that's cool. But anyway, thanks for joining me as always, Mr. Chicago. Sorry we had to end the season on such a rough note, but hopefully, Packers get eliminated soon. And, as always, hoping Ryan Poles continues to earn our trust, because right now I do trust him, but we got to improve.
And lastly, but not least, our beloved Devin Hester is a finalist for the Hall of Fame. So he better be getting his goddamn gold jacket, because Quick story. I'm actually related to Devin Hester by marriage.
Oh, no kidding.
So my cousin is his blood cousin. So
nice.
Yeah. So I've been a Devin Hester fan, for years. I have 2 Devin Hester jerseys actually. So I'm pushing. They better give my boy his goddamn gold jacket, because he's the GOAT of kick return of special teams. Period, man.
He changed the game.
What he did. He was a game changer for sure, man.
Game. But you can't tell the story of NFL history without mentioning him. He was the best at what he did, and he absolutely changed the game. Like they don't allow kickoff returns anymore because he was too good at them. Like they basically got rid of kickoff returns because of how good he was. So definitely we'll be watching out for that. Hopefully our guy Devin Hester and of course Steve McMichael get into the Hall of Fame. Very well deserved. On behalf of Mr. Chicago, I am Easy from Easy Does It. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, and we will see you next week.
This has been a Chicago Clubhouse Network production.